Imagine for a second that every sleepless night, every email ignored, every strategy session that felt like treading water was actually a warning sign, an alarm screaming that the way things are done is broken. You're not just fighting competition, you're battling the entire system that's designed to keep things exactly the same. You've seen it, felt it in your bones. That fire inside isn't fed by scraps of advice masquerading as wisdom, or by fancy frameworks that look good on paper but fall apart the moment real chaos hits. Because real chaos always hits. It's relentless. It's brutal. And if your growth plan can't handle the storm, it's not a plan. It's a trap. Here's the raw truth. What you think works doesn't work. Not anymore. Not if you want to 10x your company's growth trajectory. You're stuck in a loop where tactics are recycled, buzzwords thrown around like confetti, and growth becomes a nice-to-have buzzword instead of a life or death outcome. Anyone can preach about scaling, about growth hacking, about pivoting with polished PowerPoints, but the real leap, the one that rips the ceiling off your business and sends it soaring, that comes from one thing: a framework that shatters every assumption you had before and rewrites the rules while everyone else is still playing checkers. Because growth isn't a linear path. It never has been. It's not about finding a trick or a shortcut. It's about reconstructing the very architecture of how your company thinks, moves, and fights. Imagine a framework that doesn't just tweak your marketing or sales, it revamps your entire company's DNA, turning inertia into acceleration and locked doors into open highways. This is not some half-baked formula or trendy playbook. This is the operating system for radical transformation. It's the secret weapon hidden beneath layers of noise and conventional wisdom, reserved only for those bold enough to seize it. Your biggest enemy right now isn't the market, it's complacency disguised as comfort. The world wants you safe. It wants you boxed into roles, processes, and limited thinking. But that safety is a lie. It's a cage that suffocates the giant inside you. Growth hits a wall when your entire team buys into the same tired stories, when innovation is slowed by committee, when risk becomes a whispered taboo. Breaking through demands tearing down those walls, igniting a spark that fractures old mindsets and fuses your team into a relentless force. That spark? It's this framework. It rewires incentives, aligns vision at every level, and creates velocity that's not just fast. It's unstoppable. Feel that tightness in your chest? The weight of knowing your company's potential is being throttled by hidden forces, the parts you can't see but feel every day? That's the problem crying out for the solution you're about to discover. This isn't about magic pills or luck. It's about a system that sharpens focus on what actually drives growth, relentless value creation, ruthless prioritization, and a culture that doesn't just tolerate change, but devours it. Imagine tearing up the playbook that says, stay safe, stay big, and rewriting it to say, dominate, expand, explode. That's what this framework delivers: a clear, obsessively simple structure that normalizes a mindset of radical expansion, not incremental progress. Here's the brutal truth. Your market doesn't care if you're doing better. They want breakthroughs. They want innovation turned to an art form. They want companies that move fast enough to make competitors dizzy, that spread wide enough to make investors eager, that build loyalty so fierce it survives every storm. But you can't get there with fragmented efforts or disconnected visions. Growth multiplies only when every piece fits perfectly: the product, the people, the message, the culture. This framework aligns those dots in ways you haven't even imagined, making your business a living, breathing machine designed to accelerate without breaking down. What if every decision came with clarity so sharp it slices through noise? What if your team wakes up every day knowing exactly where to attack, what to build, who to serve, and why? That precision isn't a pipe dream. It's built into the framework's core. It forces you to abandon the distraction of endless options and focus on one brutal truth. Growth is the output of relentless clarity and perfect alignment. And that clarity, it grows with you. It scales up as fast as you can handle. Suddenly, complexity becomes your fuel, not your weakness. Here's what you don't hear often enough. Growth is as much about what you stop doing as what you start. It's a surgical strike, not a scattergun. This framework doesn't just teach you to add, it teaches you to subtract, to say no fiercely, powerfully, and without guilt. It's a system that ensures every move you make feeds directly into growth's bloodstream. Imagine trimming the fat of vanity projects, useless meetings, and hollow KPIs, all the things that lionize busy work but choke real progress. This is the liberation from noise, the freedom that only the few, the real creators, understand. But the magic of this framework isn't only in the structure, it's also in the mentality it demands. It calls for warriors who refuse to be boxed in. It demands that leaders throw away comfort and swim headfirst into uncertainty, armed with a plan that's adaptive, fierce, and laser-focused. If that freaks you out, good. It should, because growth isn't cozy. It's a relentless beast that doesn't rest for you. It challenges everything you think you know about leadership, forcing you to be more vulnerable, more transparent, and way more committed than ever before. At its heart, this framework harnesses a truth that every founder, investor, leader, and visionary knows, but often forgets. Growth is a human game. It's about people, passion, and purpose, wrapped in a strategy so tight it leaves no room for ego, excuses, or hidden agendas. It demands you build tribes, not just customers. It calls for leadership, not just management. Because only through the raw power of collective belief and extreme alignment can a company go from surviving to thriving beyond any scale you've dared to imagine. Now, the question isn't, can this framework 10x growth? But how fast can you implant it before your competitors do? Because the system is already shifting beneath your feet. Early adopters will be the skyscrapers of tomorrow's market landscape, and those stuck in old playbooks will be fossils. This is the decisive moment. Implement or fall behind. The great paradox of growth is that you have to lose control to gain it. You have to break the wheel and redesign it, custom made with your vision, your values, your fire. This framework is your blueprint for that revolution. Think of every challenge you face as a crack in the old order, a chance to fracture limits and invite in massive change. This system teaches you to target those cracks, to turn them into wedges, to lever your entire company into a new plane. It transforms fear into action, inertia into sprint, and dreams into detailed, executable plans. That process? It's addictive, hypnotic, and impossible to stop once it starts working. Growth becomes not just the goal, but the natural consequence of how you think, decide, and lead. No fluff, no hype. Just ruthless, pragmatic reality. This framework reprograms your company to grow like a living organism, adaptive, scalable, and fiercely competitive. It frees you from the tyranny of what if, should, and maybe, and locks you into the certainty of when, how, and now. It's not just about increasing revenue or market share. It's about transforming the way every single person in your ecosystem thinks about growth, making it as natural as breathing, as inevitable as sunrise. Your company's future is not written by chance. It's forged in choice. The choice to reject safety, to reject mediocrity, to reject the comfortable lies we've been told since day one. The choice to take what you have, your team, your vision, your grit, and channel it through a framework tested at the edges of possibility. This is a call to the rare, the restless, the relentless. This is the framework that doesn't ask if you can 10x growth. It proves it. Every move, every pivot, every breakthrough becomes a building block for unheard of successes. This journey is not for those who shrink when challenged. It's for those who roar, those who stare down the impossible and smile because they know something the many don't. The rules can be rewritten. Growth isn't magic, but it's damn close when you've got the right framework. One that doesn't just plan for growth, but lives it, breathes it, and fights tooth and nail for it every day. So here's the truth burning now. The only limits that matter are the ones you accept. Break them. Rewrite your trajectory. Unleash growth like a wildfire. The framework is in your hands. Will you use it or watch others sprint ahead?